to size 15 men's. Like I have the curse of the Bigfoot. It's awful.
Oh my god,
13.
that's a size 14 here. I've never seen shoes that big. I
have
struggle to
13s.
find size 11s for my partner.
Yeah,
Struggle.
I have to buy my shoes online from Nike's website, and they get shipped to me. They're expensive.
They
To
really
be fair,
are.
I'm the same way because I'm a size 2, so it goes the other way around. I can never find shoes my size.
Wait, you're a size 2?
Yeah, I fall
But-
over. They're disproportionate.
Okay,
I don't
so
like the stun sign.
I was about to say, hold on.
What about this freak over here? What about me?
Hello, everyone. This is Caleb Boudreau, the editor-in-chief of AnExtraordinaryLife.online, and today I have with me Perry
Hi, I'm Perry, or Pericarl, a Twitch streamer.
and Ryan.
Hi, I'm Ryan, or Release Radar on YouTube.
And today is our first podcast under the Joystick Junkies branding. Don't listen to the bottom left of the screen down there. It is not Joystick Jockeys. I did an oopsie. And but yeah, so over the course of the next 2 or 3 weeks, just to kind of get it out of the way, we are going to be cross-publishing this between This Extraordinary Life and Joystick Junkies on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And after the 2 or 3 weeks, we'll go exclusively to the Joystick Junkies. And yeah, so you can follow us there and on YouTube. So this is now the second time that we tried to record this because the wrong word down there wasn't the only oopsie that I've made today. So we
Are we
were
sure?
talking.
Everything's recording, by the way. Is everything good?
I'm recording both things on this end, so
Okay.
I think we're good. But I've done stupider things, but we're not going to talk about that. So we were talking about the Resident Evil 4 Remake's chainsaw demo and how it just spectacularly captures the tension of fighting like insurmountable odds to survive as long as you can, and how it wasn't necessarily a horror game. It was like that survival horror, like it's the beginning of Resident Evil's dipping their foot into the action adventure, action horror genre. So it's not as like action oriented as 5 and 6, but it's kind of like, think 8. Like 8 had some horror elements, but it has more emphasis on the action and
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. So but the demo is absolutely fantastic. And Ryan, what were you saying about Half-Life 2 and how it's kind of like similar?
Yeah, so the problem that I'm having with Half-Life 2 at the moment is there's a point in the game where like a Strider is supposed to blow a hole in the wall and let you through. But the Strider isn't spawning for me. And I'm playing this in VR as well. So like it's even more intense because like when I have to reload, I have to like reload everything myself. And
I didn't
so
know they had VR for Half-Life 2.
it's a mod on Steam and it's completely free. So if you have Half-Life 2, you can
Really?
download Half-Life 2 VR and you can play the entire game in VR, and it is so much fun. But I'm at the most action-packed part of the game where there's like a bunch of like big like mini bosses you have to fight with like rocket launchers to blow them up. And then there's one that's supposed to spawn to blow a hole in the wall in the specific point to let you keep going and progress through the mission. But that's not happening. And so the last time I played Half-Life 2 may have been like 2013 because the game's been out for a long time. So I haven't played the game in like a decade. And I didn't remember that. So I was like running around in circles and I kept getting pissed off because like I don't know where to go. It only leads here. And there's nowhere to go from here. There's no other doors. And so I looked it up, and this guy who's doing like a how to play the game is like, then a strider will blow a hole in the wall. I'm like, well, that's just not happening. I'm literally fighting an endless horde of the Combine soldiers. They just keep spawning, and I'm in VR, and I kill all of them, and then I just see one materialize right in front of me. I have to panic and like aim my gun and try to hit him, and they have high ground on me as well, and it's just exhausting. Because like
I'm just
in
saying,
VR,
that sounds like a fun stream to watch.
Yeah.
To have like a camera on the outside plus what you're seeing.
yeah.
Just to see your reaction and just go.
Well, like I'm just trying to finish the game, and the problem is to fix this. Like if you're bugged, you have to probably restart the mission. Like in Modern Warfare 2's campaign, there was a specific sequence that was supposed to happen with the mission where you're driving, like the cars, like the high speed, like car chase or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And there was a certain trigger that was supposed to happen to like stop that level. It never happened for me, so I was just infinitely driving around in circles the first time I played the mission. And
it's
so
the Fast and Furious simulator.
and so
Oh my
the solution is to just restart the mission. But the problem is now I have to fight all the bosses again in VR.
Oh
So
my God.
I'm
What
dreading restarting the mission, but I have
What
to.
is VR action like? Because VR horror is like just insane. I can't even get through the menu screens. And I stream and I play horror games, but just in VR, it's a totally different experience. Does action also feel like that?
Yeah, no, action is like amplified because like in, let's say, like Call of Duty, you press a button to reload and your character reloads and never messes up. If you have to reload, you might miss. You might try to put the thing and miss, right? So you have to have like accuracy, and then you have to know so you reach over your shoulder to grab a new clip, you put it in the gun, and then you have to know where on that gun you chamber the next round. So is it the back of the gun? Is it on the side of the gun? And like when you're being shot at, you're like fumbling around, like, and when you have to crouch, like you actually have to like get down, like you have to take cover.
Oh, that sounds bad on the knees.
I mean,
yeah.
it's a workout, but it's fun. And so, but it's exhausting. And I like action in VR, and I love VR. I'm actually doing a video on it on my channel soon. I've been working on it where I played VR exclusively for a week. I didn't touch my PC or my Steam Deck or anything else. Like, I only played VR. But there's just not a lot of good games for VR, which is frustrating to me. I'm very passionate about it because I do think it is the next step in gaming, and PSVR 2 is going to help, but PSVR 2 is only going to help the PlayStation side of VR. It's not going to help PC VR because they're going to make everything exclusive.
Gran Turismo 7 on PSVR looks just...
I thought that game was bad because when it came out, it was horribly, horribly reviewed for like some sort of microtransactions or like something.
Like it's the career mode is always online. So if you don't have internet for any specific reason and you wanted to play that game, well, you can free roam, not free roam, but like pick a track, make you a little custom race. That's fine, but you can't work on your career progression.
Yeah,
That's incredibly annoying.
Yeah, single player should be able to be played offline.
As soon as they take the servers offline, that's it. But PSVR 2, it has the entire game completely in VR. So for my birthday this year, I planned on investing as like a gift to myself in like steering wheel, pedals, and like an actual rig to mount it all in.
Nice.
Because I love racing games. Like that's my calm, like sit down, drive. Even though I drive for work, for some reason, like racing games kind of like do it for me. They're like my little relaxing thing. So I wanted to do that, and then if I get really into it, I was thinking about maybe getting a PSVR 2 for myself for Christmas, and just experiencing the game as a whole in VR. Because as somebody's passing, as somebody's passing you on the side, you just look over. And, and like you can play with other, like you can play with friends who don't have it on VR, and they won't know a difference.
They might know a difference.
Well, so you can do the same thing with Minecraft. If you have Minecraft Java Edition, there's a mod for Minecraft Java Edition called Vivecraft, and you can play Minecraft in VR with people who are playing it like on the desktop version. And
is it like
I really
a
want
first-person
to.
thing?
Yeah, it's like first person Minecraft. Like when you're mining, you actually like have to smack the rock with a pickaxe like manually.
That's so cool.
Oh,
That sounds
Perry.
so fun.
I think I know your next investment after your computer upgrade.
A VR headset.
A VR headset, and then add the tins unit to your pickaxe arm.
Do you know
that
what?
way in the middle?
Do you know what? I have plans to do like a sort of
The
Beat
subathon.
Saber
Oh.
Just Dance maybe, but I don't know about Just Dance on Twitch, but a Beat Saber thing and get 2 tens units on either arm. So I miss
So they can mess
the
with
blocks.
you. Oh.
But that's a
ever
great
want-
idea as well.
Yeah, no, I'm
awesome.
looking for people to play Minecraft VR with because I almost played. Like, my buddy Kyle, who also does the podcast with us, has a VR headset. He's the one who got me into VR, and I think it would be fun to just like get a group of friends together and just play Minecraft in VR and see how far we can get. I'm down.
I think Perry's
I
definitely
want to
down
do
for
this.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. VR is such a funny thing because everyone, from what I've seen, no one really is that eager to try it. Maybe it's different now, but back when I got the Oculus for the first time, no one was really that eager to try it in my group, especially not older adults like my parents and things like that. They weren't interested until they put it on. And then everyone, I've never heard, I have a lifelong friend who's always very stoic and very masculine. And I've never heard him make that noise. It was this like fluttery giggle of wonder. It was fantastic. And everyone
Those are the
makes that
best.
noise. Yeah. Because it's like nothing else. And yeah.
You look really stupid with the thing strapped to your face,
yeah.
and that might be why they're just like, I don't want to try this. You look like a dumbass with this
Yeah.
box strapped to your head. But
Or
like,
Especially
maybe-
in super hot. It's super hot. Time only moves when you move, so you're just like.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
now, it's super hot VR is difficult too, because like if you mess up, you get kicked all the way back to the beginning.
Yep.
I have a friend who looks amazing when she plays Beat Saber. She's like all dancey and she does it properly like the girls in the ads. And I'm really good at Beat Saber. Like I'm not even gonna I'm fucking amazing at Beat Saber, but when I do it because I'm really going for it, I look ridiculous. I look like a spider on a hot plate. And I'm just jealous because I wish I was as sexy as her, but you know, I'd rather get a high score, to be honest.
And then I just don't play Beat Saber. I'm so bad at it.
Oh no.
I mean, I've heard that it's great exercise.
It's also just a
Yeah.
lot of fun. Like I have a neighbor who has kids, and sometimes they come down and bother me because I've got all the fancy stuff and they want to play VR. And it's really the one thing that I don't like about VR is that the headsets, there's like, if you wear glasses, for example, if you try to put on a headset, you have to get like an extension so your glasses can fit and you can still see the
Yeah.
lenses. Because my neighbor, she wears glasses, and so she wants to play. She can't see because I don't have to wear glasses. So I personally, I never bought that extension because my eyes work for now.
See, what's
you know?
what's neat about the PSVR 2 is that it has like that. There's
eye
like a little
tracking.
knob that will like extend it for you, and it'll bring it out just slightly. That way, you can have glasses on.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
clever. Yeah.
But they also, like you were saying, Ryan, they do also have the eye tracking.
Yeah,
So
the
like,
PSVR
it
2.
only renders what you're looking at,
So
or like
crazy.
it renders everything.
Yeah.
But it only renders what your eye is looking at in full resolution. Everything else is like, imagine like 4K where you're looking, and then
Bokeh.
1080 everywhere else.
Interesting. Oh, it
So
sounds
like
amazing.
Linus from Linus Tech Tips, that wonderful naive
I don't want
man.
to talk about it.
He was doing like a showcase of it, and so he would look at something on the screen, and he was like, okay, if it's so great and you can definitely tell the difference, what am I looking at right now? And like all 3 times that they did that, they were able to spot like, hey, you're looking at this thing right here, and he's like,
proved wrong
no.
live.
Yeah. Well, it's cool because that's kind of like how your eyes work in real life. You know, you're focused on what you're focused on, and you can see the rest of it, but it's not as clear in vision as what
Yeah.
you're directly looking at. And so I think it's really smart because, like, to what Caleb was saying, like on a flat screen, people who are watching you play the game can see exactly where you're looking at because everything around that one center point is a little bit more blurry. But that's really smart for VR. because you don't have to render everything in super high resolution all the time in case you might look over at it, right?
Yeah.
But I wish VR had more games, because that's the thing. Like, we're not at Ready Player One levels, but like, if you knew what the what was the Nintendo VR headset that they tried to come out with in like the 80s, that was the Virtual Boy.
Virtual Boy.
Yeah, and it was so bad. Like, we have the technology. We're here. We have VR.
Yeah.
But nobody's buying it, because nobody's buying it, developers aren't making games.
Though.
Yeah, they can't invest in it. Exactly.
And nobody's buying it because there's no games, and there's no games because nobody's buying. Like, it makes me so mad.
Yeah, like take the PSVR 2, or even like the reason why I think the Quest 2 like took off as quickly as it did is because that's all you had to buy.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to have $1,000-$1,500 computer. You didn't have to buy $400 or $500 PlayStation. Like, you just had to buy the headset to be able to experience it. So, and I think that's most people's barrier to entry now, because if you do buy a Quest 2, you have to literally just sit there and sign up for a Facebook account. And if you get Facebook, pretty much, because if you get banned from Facebook, your headset's bricked.
Really?
No.
I didn't know that. Like, what if you just make a different account? What if you sign in with a different account?
So, like, you can probably do that, but then that's ban evading.
But you paid for the product.
Yeah, but it has to be linked to an account.
Okay, well, that's not necessarily true.
But you can't play your games.
But no, you can plug it into a computer and then just do PC VR with that headset.
But I'm saying, like, general people who don't have a PC.
Yeah.
You just have, e-waste now.
Well, you could reset it and then at least sell it on. Well, you couldn't sell it. I was going to say Facebook Marketplace, but no, that wouldn't work. You can sell it on Craigslist. You can sell it on eBay.
Let me log into Facebook where I'm banned and just, sell
Get your dad to sell it for you. That's not ban evading, is it? Like,
wait, I forgot to say. So one of the neatest things about we just got on a wild tangent. Now I'm going back to Resident Evil, but one of the coolest things about the demo is there's actually a secret weapon in it. But you can't, like, the way to get to it is weird. So whenever my friend told me about it, he said he found it on YouTube. So I'm not exactly sure who was the original, like, finder of it. Basically, whenever you go to the gate just before the village, where the majority of the fighting in the demo takes place, you have to empty your inventory. Get rid of your knife. Get rid of your gun, all of your health, all of your ammo, everything. And if you do that, there is a well on the right side of the map, and it opens up, but only if you empty your inventory before you walk into the thing. And there's a submachine gun with 150 rounds or something like that. Or no. It's 50, and you get it's a lot of ammo for the submachine gun, and it makes it so much easier. And whenever you beat the demo with that gun, you're able to keep it for like subsequent playthroughs. But unless you dump your inventory again, you're only stuck with the 50 rounds that are in the magazine. So it's like, okay, so do I dump it again, or do I try it with the extra gun just with a lot less ammo? But it's interesting because, like, you're playing a demo for a game that comes out in now less than 2 weeks. You wouldn't expect there to be like some secret thing. Like, you would expect content to be locked away because, it's not the main game, but you wouldn't expect like a secret that's fully accessible to the public if you find out how to get to it.
That's cool though.
Like, how do you guys think that people like that find stuff like that? Like, who just thinks like, hey, I'm gonna play this survival horror game where I'm supposed to fight for my life, and I'm just gonna empty my inventory?
I mean, there are people who we keep circling back to Elden Ring, but there are people who like specifically try to challenge themselves and do like naked runs, right? So it
Yeah,
could be
maybe
something like
that's
that.
how.
Fair. Just yeah.
I wonder if it comes from leaks potentially. If a developer says, "Oh, try this,"
Or like maybe
someone.
files,
Maybe.
like game
Or
files.
yeah,
They see it in
could
game
have been
files.
something like a PC where they just dug through the files.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Mm.
how we discovered the upcoming Source 2 update for CSGO, because people
Oh,
dug through the
no.
driver
Oh,
update and found CSGO 2.
Yeah. But see, I've heard rumors that it's a completely different game. It's not CS:GO. It's just a new Counter-Strike completely.
I thought it was... See, I think because there's so much money wrapped in the skin economy for Counter-Strike Go, I don't think they would just make a new one and split the player base. I think it's going to be a
Well, why
Source
wouldn't
2
they?
update.
If they're already bringing in, so they're bringing in esports competitors to
Mhm.
test the game and like make it perfectly. So like if they're going to that extent, why not make a whole new economy?
Why not make Half-Life 3 instead of CSGO 2?
Because
Just
there's
saying.
money in it.
Do you know how much money Valve would make if they released Half-Life 3? I'm sorry, it has been like 15 years. What happens?
Okay, but can you get esports from Half-Life 3?
You would break the internet with Half-Life 3.
Fair,
And not like
but
Kim
once you're
Kardashian break
done-
like actually break the internet. Like people
but like
would lose
whenever
their
you're
mind.
done playing it though, like 10 years from now, like because what CS:GO came out in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, CS Source was like 2000s, and then Counter-Strike Go was like 2012. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna pull up Steam right now.
I don't think it was 2012,
I think it might have been.
but like for it to stand the test of time and
Yeah, that does
be
seem
out-
pretty recent.
August 21st, 2012. I was right.
Amazing.
what?
Yeah, CS:GO came out in 2012. But there was Counter-Strike Source before that, which was basically the same thing.
So how did a game that came out in 2012 not have ADS?
It does have ADS. It's only ADS on specific guns, though. Like you can only scope
If you
with
have a
scopes.
scope, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Well,
no
that's
weapon
that's the
customization,
point,
no
though. It's like an arcade shooter, right? It's like Halo. You don't ADS every gun in Halo.
Yeah, like
Try to
Battlefield
aim
as
down
well.
the assault rifle. You have a giant
True.
triangle that counts your ammo in front of your face. You're not going to be able to see anything through that.
True, but like, okay, but look at Valorant. They've been able to do it.
You're not even supposed to aim down sight in Valorant, though. I've heard.
Yeah,
Really?
most people don't.
Yeah, it's worse.
Huh.
Yeah, I have a friend. She streams under Juvlia, and she plays Valorant, and she does aim trainers through Aim Lab like religiously before she gets on. And I've watched her streams a couple of times. She never aims down sights unless it's like a really long peek. But what most people do, like they peek around the corner, take a couple shots, go back, peek around the corner, take a couple shots, go back, but they don't ADS. Because like during the time it takes you to aim down sights, if the other person's good at hip firing and aiming, you're dead. You lose.
Interesting. Maybe that's why I suck so much at that game.
I just don't play it.
That's why.
Yeah. It's funny. Amber constantly makes fun of me because Ryan, and Kyle all play Call of Duty. Actually, yeah. Last week when we were recording, I was in the call and we were waiting on Kyle because Kyle was still in the match. Because I left the match early to join the call.
That's funny.
And Kyle's just sitting there finishing. And anytime I'm like, I'm talking to Kyle. Oh, so how many times did you die already?
It's so funny.
Not that many. No, Caleb, you can tell me.
Yeah,
I know you die a lot in that game.
with
You suck at that game.
well, with Call of Duty, everybody gets so mad every time and it's literally every single person who plays the game. And like Kyle personally gives me a lot of crap for like complaining too much, but then he dies and goes, "That person's hacking. There's no way he saw me." I'm like, "Look up. They have a UAV. What do you mean?" It's like, Ryan, you complain too much. He's hacking. He's cheating.
See, the only time I've ever gotten like really mad at Call of Duty was, I think it was with you and Kyle.
Ooh, I think
Or it was with my little cousin and Kyle. I was just already having a crappy day.
that doesn't help at all.
and they were basically just sitting in the same position, just covering. Like you couldn't go to that side of the map without getting shot because they were already aiming down sights, watching all of the entry points. So like it's team deathmatch. You still have to go and kill them, but like how are you supposed to take on all of that with it whenever they're like all working as a team fortifying the area? Like, and it was just I just basically, look, I'm done with this. Alt F4, just like, because I'm like, I'm gonna get mad, and like I really don't feel like getting mad at a video game. So it's like, yeah.
I think the cause for me when I get mad at games is when I'm not playing as well as I know I can. Right? If that makes any sense. Like I know I can do better, but like maybe I'm getting too cocky, or maybe I'm just, I'm trying to not use flashbangs in COD, and if you don't use flashbangs, you get flashed 24/7 and you lose because the screen goes bright white, you can't see anything. But I still think Modern Warfare 2 needs a dark mode toggle for the flashbangs, because when I'm playing at 3 a.m. and here comes bright white on my screen, it hurts. Like, and I got these glasses. I look really stupid wearing them, but they're like blue light filter glasses, but they make me look so dumb.
So whenever I used to work at GameStop, it was right after Far Cry 5 came out.
Okay.
So Gunner was getting really popular at the time, and they released
Oh no.
Far Cry 5 special edition.
You
like
look like you got the
That
Joseph
looks
C
great.
glasses.
So anytime I'm wearing my contacts and I'm on my computer,
Weirdly, it suits you.
Yeah, you can pull them off. Yeah.
You do pull it off.
You might look like a cult leader, but you could pull them off.
Yeah, Jared Leto, very sexy.
Yeah.
Probably a cult leader. Allegedly.
Really?
But
I have not heard of that
Ezra
alleged
Miller
thing.
definitely a cult leader, not even allegedly anymore.
I said on stream one time that I love Ezra Miller, and then all of my chat proceeded to ruin him for me forever.
Dude, I saw this one stream where somebody's like, yeah, dude, I love Kanye. What has he been doing recently? And the entire chat's just like, just you wait, dude. And you can see this guy like, oh man, I haven't heard about Kanye in so long. They look him up. He's like, he said what?
Crying. Oh god. People still are defending Kanye though, and I have no idea why.
Yeah, I never really paid much attention. He had one song that never left my head in the early 2000s, and that was Heartless, because it was just so catchy. But then I just kind of forgot. He like fell out of popularity and then pulled the whole stunt. And I don't want to get too into it, but I just don't understand. I don't get it.
See, for me, it was Runaway.
I haven't heard that song.
Like the chorus goes like, this one's for the douchebags, this one's for the assholes, and like it's basically like a, hey, remember everyone, go fuck yourself. Like it's a really interesting song. I think it's off the same album actually. But yeah. So speaking of Call of Duty, there has been some news in the Microsoft merger. And it doesn't exactly paint Sony in the best of lights. Oh, Ryan knows what I'm about to say. Yeah. So, according to Lulu Chang Maservi, who is the CCO of Activision, Microsoft offered Sony, which in her words is the dominant console leader for well over a decade with 80% market share. Microsoft offered them a 10-year agreement on far better terms than Sony would have ever gotten from Activision should they stayed independent. But they keep refusing. According to a quote from him, swiftly detecting any diversions from and ensuring compliance with a commitment as to technical or graphical quality would be challenging. For example, Microsoft might release a PlayStation version of Call of Duty where bugs and errors only emerge on the game's final level or after later updates. Even if such degradations could be swiftly detected, any remedy would likely come too late, by which time the gaming community would have lost confidence in PlayStation as a go-to venue to play Call of Duty. Indeed, as Modern Warfare 2 attests, Call of Duty is most often purchased in just the first few weeks of release. It if it became known as that the game's performance on PlayStation was worse than on Xbox, Call of Duty gamers would decide to switch to Xbox for fear of playing their favorite game at a second class or less competitive venue. She continues by saying the CEO of Sony Interactive Entertainment answered that question in Brussels. In his own words, I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger.
I think that the claim that Microsoft would release a lesser version of the game after signing a contract with them, claiming that it would be content parity, would be a breach of that contract, and Microsoft could get sued for that. So they would not do that because that would be a direct violation of the contract that they would sign with Sony. So this like you'll just break it on our platform. Like, no, that would be illegal. They would not be following their contract guidelines. So I just don't understand the train of thought. It's just basically Sony's jealous that Microsoft has the money to acquire a big game while Sony has God of War behind you. I see God of War, Days Gone, and that's just 2. And there's The Last of Us, Uncharted, Spider-Man, Bloodborne. Like, they have so many big franchises, Death Stranding, and they don't want Microsoft to have a W. But Microsoft doesn't really have a big thing. Like, Starfield is going to be their big thing, but Starfield's not out yet. And Halo was their big thing, but 343 ran Halo into the ground. So let Microsoft have it. It's no big deal.
I find it funny that right after they announced the merger, Sony was like, "Oh, so you want to play? Okay. So we're gonna buy Bungie, and the people who made your fan favorite Halo, yeah, well they're ours now." As if that was gonna turn the tide in the fight.
Yeah, and let's just click Steam. Let's type in Destiny 2 Lightfall. Let's see how that's doing real quick. Destiny 2 Lightfall, $50 expand. Ooh, mostly negative. Wow, Sony, good acquisition.
Oh, to get that on Steam, that's quite intense.
Yeah, I literally see just a flood of thumbs down scrolling through this.
Oh no, what did they say? What's the consensus?
So Lightfall was supposed to be, and I'm not a huge Destiny 2 fan, but it was supposed to be just like a huge story conclusion to Destiny 2. It was supposed to wrap up a lot of loose ends, but it left more questions unanswered, supposedly, at the end of it.
Take out the last time they tried to make a story?
I heard the Witch Queen was good, but then Lightfall was bad. I don't. There's been so many expansions to Destiny 2. I don't keep up with it. I don't play the game.
Well, it just seems like the more expansions they have, they take out older content.
That's true. You can't even play the original story anymore. It's just gone.
Like I have the collector's edition strategy guide right here, and it's worthless because none of those quests actually exist anymore.
Yeah.
Which I think is stupid. And I think their reasoning is like they're worried about people, like they're worried about the community splitting off and playing other things. But like, you made the single player campaign for Destiny 2, the one that I played when the game launched back in 2017, doesn't even exist anymore. You can't play that anymore. There are people who spent years of their life working on that project and it's gone. The game still exists, but the content they made is not there anymore. And
you're blocking off new players from joining as well.
Yeah. Because like if you join like at what's supposed to be the last chapter and you're just like, okay, before I play Lightfall, I want to play the game to see how we got here. You can't.
No, and it's really confusing because the tutorial leads you into the story that is not there, and you're just sort of left running around like, oh my god, where do I go from here? And it's completely overwhelming. But I guess what they're trying to do, like you say, is not split up the player base and also create some sort of dedicated, intimate community. But I just don't know if that's working. I feel like it's trailing off.
See, I think the Division 2 kind of did it better because you can still play the entire thing. You kind of actually have to, unless you buy the expansion from the jump. Because if you buy Warlords of New York from the jump, you get a level 30 character, like right off the bat. But you can always create a new character and start from the beginning, or use that level 30 character and start from the beginning because, you still have to do all of the stuff in Washington. Like it's still not completed, you know?
Mm.
So I think they did it best because they kind of gave players that option. It wasn't taken from them, you know?
Yeah.
Do the enemy levels scale up to level 30? Like they're not just steamrolling
Yeah.
over a bunch of level 1s?
Yeah, no, every single time. So the last time you and I played, I think we were like a level or two apart.
Mm-hmm.
And so they pseudo level you up to match me. Even if I'm in your game, they level you up to match me and level the enemies up to match me as well. That way I'm not steamrolling over everyone, but it's still like tense, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Borderlands 3 does something kind of similar where like I played it with my brother and then also another friend, and my other friend was on more often than my brother was. And so I beat the game with my friend, and then my brother gets on and he's mad at me because like all of a sudden I'm level like 28 and he's still level like 14. He's like, "But dude, you're just going to kill everything so fast." But they have this thing called there's cooperation and co-opetition. And so co-opetition is like the older version of Borderlands, like where you open a chest and the loot's there for everybody and you just first come, first serve.
Oh, yeah.
But
Oh,
cooperation
no. I hate
is you
that.
open the chest for you, and then your brother can also open the chest for him. And the enemy levels, they're scaled. Like if you're level 30, for you, the enemies are level 30. But for him, they're level 2 or whatever
That's
level
great.
he's at. And it's
That
really
is
cool.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I
And
wonder
it's
how
like,
they did that.
Well, it's like client side for the enemies, but everything else is server side, if that makes sense. All right. I think that's
Yeah.
how they did it.
Mm.
But basically, like if you're level 30, you will have level 30 enemies. And if he's level 2, that same enemy will be level 2, and the damage values and multiplayer or multipliers will be scaled for like each of your respective levels, which is really
Interesting.
freaking cool because
Yeah.
like when I wanted to play Borderlands 2 with my brother, if I got ahead, I would have to create a new character to catch up with him,
Yeah.
Yeah,
which was
and
annoying.
that's a problem in so many games, like even Valorant, right? Because the way they matchmaking, of course, it's online, so you have to kind of adjust everything. But I guess they've realized that it's just not fun if you're arguing. If you're arguing with the people around you, it kind of ruins the experience.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I was so relieved in Minecraft Dungeons when I played that with my friend because they have that chess system as well, where everything is for
I need to finish that.
each other. It's great.
It is.
I played Minecraft Dungeons and then realized, like, maybe I like this style of game. And then I played Diablo 3 for the first time. I'm like, okay, maybe I really like this style of game.
Diablo 4 is coming out soon. What
Yeah,
do you
that's-
think? The
that's
open
gonna be
beta is on the
interesting.
17th, I think.
Yeah,
Maybe open.
I'm skeptical because if you've paid attention to what happened between 3 and 4 was, do you guys not have phones?
Yeah,
Diablo
like-
Immortal? Like,
Oh, Diablo
why don't you-
Immortal.
Why don't you have a cell phone, Ryan? Is this
Oh
why
my
I can't get in
God.
touch with you most of the time?
yeah, no, this thing right here, this is just like it's a paperweight. There's no phone here at all.
I believe that, actually.
Yeah,
Don't
see,
put it
this is
down. It
just an
also doubles
illusion.
up as a torch.
I mean,
Very
like
useful.
somebody breaks into my apartment or something, I'll just throw this at them. There's no technology here.
Hey, yeet.
I was like, oh, thanks for the
God.
phone. They just run off.
See, I don't even have to break anything now. I just have something that's worth $1,000.
Yeah. Dude, don't even get me started on phone prices. When Apple put the 1,000 price tag on a phone, I'm just like, uh-oh, here we go.
Everything followed.
And now
it.
everything
Samsung was
followed
very
that.
close after.
Yeah, and you know what I don't have on my phone? Oh, let me just plug my headphones in oh. I don't have, there's no aux port on this. Makes me so mad.
That is incredibly annoying.
Yeah, well, they want you to go out and buy the AirPods. So, you don't need a aux cable on your iPhone if you have AirPods. So go
I
invest in
was
us more.
definitely, yeah, I was definitely one of the ones that went out and bought AirPods. But
If you have
in
an
my
Apple Watch on
defense-
your wrist.
yeah, as I have an Apple Watch. So it's funny. I love Apple products. I have an iPhone, Apple Watch, AirPods Pro, and an iPad Air 2. It's a very old one. I refuse to buy a Mac. Just no.
Same
Why do
here.
you stop there?
Because like $1,500 for a Mac, right?
Mm.
Can't play games on it, or if you do, it's very limited.
Mm.
And you have to buy like I use for because I used to be a professional photographer. I use Adobe CS6. So the last version that they did before they went live service, if I were to switch ecosystems to a Mac, then I can't use any of that software anymore. So all of that's out the window, you know, and for the same amount that you're buying an Apple workstation, you can build one, you know, perfectly fine and just, you know, it be comparable to something that Apple would charge more for.
Yeah.
I mean, to be, just think of the monitor stand, $1,000 monitor stand, or $500. It was either $500 or $1,000 for 4 wheels.
Yeah,
for their
it was
Mac
$600, I think, for the wheels for the bottom of the Mac.
Just 4 wheels.
So they're making about £590 profit from that then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like,
no, and like
they better be adamantium wheels. Like they better never break. If they rust, I want my money back. Like, even if it's just a spec for that price for 4 wheels, like, really?
I'd want them to vibrate and glow in the dark and all of that.
Glow in the dark, yeah. I don't think I want my wheels on my computer to vibrate. That would be a little weird. Like the computer would just slowly like roll away from you.
Yeah. But like, you know, when you're playing a game and the controller vibrates, imagine if your whole computer's shook.
So, like I've been playing like racing games and I set the controller down on my desk after, like, and it's rumbling and you can hear the zzz, and it's just like yeah, but it's so crazy. Like $500. This cost $500, and this is like a whole. So I can buy a guitar or wheels for my Mac.
Wait, like, what do you even need the wheels for?
So the Mac Pro
heavy.
is like this big, heavy, like hefty boy. So like if you want it on the floor, then you have to move it because your desk isn't big enough. Just wheel it out of the way.
I got you. Interesting.
Or just go down to Home Depot, buy some wheels with the same threading. You know.
Oh yeah, buy a 2x4, drill some holes in it, put the wheels
or just do that. Just set it on a piece of 2x4.
And then you could use it for more than just the Mac, and it costs like maybe a 1/48th the price or something like that.
Right?
No, it blows my mind.
You can't be saying this. We're gonna get sued by Apple.
I got blocked by Apple on Twitter, actually.
What?
So
what did you do?
I forgot about this. So this was when the iPhone 10 came out. And I made a list, like I made a tweet saying 10 reasons why the iPhone 10 isn't worth $1,000. And they were genuine, like I did my research. They were genuine reasons. And I'm just like, the manufacturing cost on this device, I found out was like only $280. And they're charging you $1,000 for it. So that was reason number one.
Yeah.
And I don't recall if that price is accurate now. But like I said, like it's way cheaper to produce than what they sell it for. Like they're ripping you off. It doesn't have an aux port. You have to get these accessories. These accessories no longer work with it. Within 2 hours, I was blocked by Apple on Twitter.
Woo!
And I can guarantee you will never receive an Apple product for review again. Or not again, you haven't yet, but
yeah, well the thing is, until I said this on this podcast, this wasn't tied up with my current branding at all, but I don't care.
Ooh.
Well, dude, I don't care. As a company, I do not. I'll say it out loud. As a company, I don't like Apple. I think they overcharge by a lot for their products, and they want to lock you into their ecosystem, and they purposely slowed down their phones to make people want to upgrade. Yes. And that was true. Like, I do not like Apple. It's ironic because I have an iPhone, but like, it's...
So whenever the AirPod Pros 2 came out, they actually did a firmware update, like an involuntary one. You didn't even know that it was coming, but they did a firmware update that nerfed the noise cancellation on the first gen AirPod Pros.
Why?
Now my right one doesn't even work.
Just so you buy new ones.
Just so you
people
buy the
were getting
generation.
hurt. Well, no, it was also, I heard it was because people like had the noise canceling in and they couldn't hear their surroundings in public.
No, because the second generation is even better. The second generation AirPod Pros have even better noise cancellation. especially whenever you compare them to your old ones that you still have on your nightstand. Because whenever you just put one in, like, put both of your old ones in, oh, I can still hear a bunch. Put your new ones in, oh, that's a lot better. Yeah,
and they
because
purposely changed it.
Yeah.
Did they get sued for that too? Because they got sued for slowing the phones down. But the thing is, they have so much money, they don't care. They're, $1 billion lawsuit. Okay, we're a $1 trillion company. We'll make that back in 2 months.
They make more money from forcing people to buy new stuff than they do from the lawsuits. Like overall, it's a profit. Yeah. Presumably.
Yeah. I will say,
Allegedly.
I liked Apple when Steve Jobs was around. Steve Jobs era Apple was significantly better than Tim Cook era Apple. Because Steve Jobs would not have purposely slowed down his phones. I almost call him Sleeve Jobs. Steve Jobs would not, he wouldn't do these things because he was the founder of Apple, right? And Apple was like his thing. And it's so weird about how you were talking about how you can't game on Macs. Did you know the first time Halo was ever shown off to the world was at Macworld Expo in 2000?
It was supposed to be a Mac exclusive.
It was supposed to be and exclusive.
Weird. I did not know
Halo
that.
was almost an RTS, a third-person real-time strategy game.
Yep.
Yeah.
And look at Halo Wars now.
Yeah. I haven't played the Halo Wars games, but I've heard they're good.
Oh, yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
But like you were mentioning, Steve Jobs would
Sleeve Jobs.
Sleeve Jobs. He wouldn't be a fan of modern Apple. Steve Wozniak is definitely not a fan of Apple.
Yeah.
He's
seen
the
interviews with him.
co-founder of Apple. He hates modern Apple. He hates what his company's become.
Yeah. And
that is incredibly sad.
They have Apple has done cool things. They completely modernized the tablet. It took Android tablets a long time to catch up with the iPad, and they're pretty comparable now, but if you were having to choose between an iPad 2 or a crappy Android tablet that couldn't hold a charge and barely did anything, you would probably choose the iPad 2. But iPads and Android tablets now are pretty comparable. And Samsung makes I used to have a Samsung Galaxy Gear watch, and I used to have a Note 9, and I liked the Note phones because I have giant hands. And so the Note phones were good for me because this is a 13 Pro Max right here. This is the biggest iPhone you could get last time, and it
make it look tiny.
Oh, here's an Xbox controller.
See, what the? Whenever you said that, all I think of is that scene in Deadpool 1 whenever he's regrowing the bottom half of his arm, and
dude,
his blind roommate is like, "What are you gonna do with that small hand while it regrows?" He's like, "I don't know, but you don't want to be in the same room whenever I do it." And she's like, "Oh my god!" He's like, "Spoiler alert! It feels huge."
Oh.
No, when I worked at Walmart, I had to have so I worked in the frozen section, and they give you gloves. Their biggest pair of gloves didn't fit me, so they had to special order my gloves so I could work in the freezer and my hands wouldn't get too cold. It's. Yeah, no, he understands. You completely get it, man.
Yep. And this is the Elite one.
Oh, that's the Elite?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Man,
my hand basically,
so
I can cover almost the
let's-
entirety of the whole controller with my hand.
Yeah, spreading my hand, it looks like I.
No, and I went to Academy. Do you guys have Academy Sports and Outdoors in UK, or is that just an American thing?
I've not heard of it, but maybe we do.
Okay. Well, in traditional American fashion, you can buy clothes, you can buy drinks, fishing supplies, and guns there. It's a wonderful store. And so I went to look at some firearms, and then I was there, and it was winter, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna go see what the what slippers they have in stock because it's winter, and I want to have slippers just to wear around the house if it gets cold or whatever. And I'm just like, hey, yeah, do you have any size 15s? And the lady looks at me, looks at my feet, looks at me, looks at my feet, looks at me, and just goes, no. Just, no, we don't. And this is size 15 men's. I have the curse of the Bigfoot. It's awful.
Oh my god,
13.
that's a size 14 here. I've never seen shoes that big. I struggle to
13s.
find size 11s for my partner.
Yeah,
Struggle.
I have to buy my shoes online from Nike's website, and they get shipped to me. They're expensive.
They
To
really
be fair,
are.
I'm the same way because I'm a size 2, so it goes the other way around. I can never find shoes my size.
Wait, you're a size 2?
Yeah, I fall
But-
over. They're disproportionate.
Okay,
I don't
so
like the stun
for-
sign.
I was about to say, hold on.
Look at what about this freak over here? What about me?
No, hold on. So, like, for fear of being on Wiki Feet, like, because that's a thing. Do you have like a shoe in your hand? Like, I'm so curious to know what a size 2 shoe looks like.
I don't have one with me, but we can arrange this.
Look, we're
just
not
like
putting
sit-
feet on this podcast.
I
I'm
mean,
drawing the line.
It's
that
not
we're
that
not
kind
putting-
of show.
The line is drawn, Caleb.
You'd make a lot of money, though. I'm just like, that's a lot of feed for your buck, you know?
Oh man, how did we get from VR to Foot Fighter?
I know we're going back a bit, but I want to point out, like, is it really uncool that we all just immediately had an Xbox controller to hand? That we could all just
Well, I mean, we're all at our desks in front of our computers. Like, here's an Xbox controller. I don't care. No,
we're
it's
cool,
just
we're gamers.
This is definitely the parkour podcast. We've jumped from topic to topic and then back and forth like so many times.
It's conversational whiplash.
Oh God, yes.
it's like we have two.
It's almost like
people
the
here
video
with,
intro.
Yeah.
Like, have I shown you the title card for the podcast, Perry?
No.
So the title card, I was playing BeamNG. It's a simulation like driving game.
Right.
And I was going 220 miles an hour down the interstate, and I wonder what would happen if I crash into this telephone pole. And so it just smashes into it, and I got it to line up with the last note of the jingle, like just perfectly. And my justification is just completely, I mean, this is kind of a, train wreck of a podcast. So might as well
There
just
you
have a
go.
car crash in the beginning. Like, let that set the
354
tone.
kilometers per hour, by the way. Like, that's
Oh my
fast.
gosh. Consistent branding. We like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
I mean, it's going to change, but we needed something. I figure
Yeah.
while we're finding our identity, we might as well be, identifying with a car crash.
Yeah, and I'm going to circle way back to the PlayStation VR and Resident Evil talk real quick. Did you know you can play you can play Resident Evil in VR on PlayStation VR?
Yes.
Like Resident Evil Village, I think.
you
The one
can
with
play,
the tall lady
N7.
or whatever.
yeah, you
that
can
everybody
play some
was
of them on
obsessed
Oculus
with.
too. Because that's my plan, to play some VR Resident
Wait, so-
Evil.
Please
And
tell
it's on
me.
PC?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no. The VR version, I believe, is only PlayStation exclusive.
Oh, I
it's
might be wrong about
PSVR
this.
2 exclusive.
I might be thinking of something else then.
But
I got
Perry,
excited for nothing.
if you
Sorry.
were to play, the VR version of it on PC, if for somehow somebody made a mod that made it VR compatible, I know Ryan would do it. I could definitely see Ryan downloading
exactly
the Fly
what you're
Swatter mod. Please tell me you've seen that video.
They
Where
haven't.
the person goes up behind Lady Dimitri or whatever her name is and just smack or whatever.
So they change the knife into a fly swatter, and then they sneak up behind Lady D and just smack her.
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all. Of course they
The
did.
first thing that I saw
Man.
about Resident Evil Village was this cartoon of this guy, and he just points at her and goes, "Go big lady." That was the whole video. He was like, "Big lady."
Man,
Oh man.
I don't know what it is about like people or even modders in video games just like over sexualizing women in video games.
You know,
I
the
never
first
understood it.
one of the first mods that they made for Hogwarts Legacy was to put Professor Garlick, very sexy teacher, in lingerie.
Why?
Dude, I
I
saw
don't
so
know.
many TikToks of people just going like hard over Professor Garlic.
Yeah.
I think her name is so stupid though. Like I could not
Yeah.
take her name
But
seriously. Like,
she teaches you how to grow garlic. Like, come on. What else?
like
would you name
I
it?
understand the joke. I just think the joke's dumb.
It could be worse. I mean, in Death Stranding, Die Hard Man.
I guess that's true. That's like
And
naming
all
your
of the
dog
names
dog.
inside of Metal Gear Solid 5. Yeah, Perry, you didn't know that?
No, is that his name? Die Hard Man.
Hideo Kojima cannot write character names to save his life. There's a doctor named Hartman
Oh dear.
because
Oh,
he
no.
stops his heart to travel the world behind.
Oh god.
And then it automatically just like defibs him so he can come back. His name is Hartman because he can stop his
so
heart and
funny.
restart it.
Well, now we have ChatGPT to come up with names for us.
Yeah, that's how we got
at
our
this
name.
point,
Yeah.
right? At this point, though, he's been doing this for 20 years, so like
It's part of the charm with his games.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's fair enough.
it's kind of like on point with his branding.
But speaking of something, do
hold
you want
on,
to say one
real
more
quick.
thing? Okay.
Yeah. Speaking of like the over sexualization of video game characters and the weird mod scene that people have just completely gone off the rails with.
Skyrim.
So, you're right. My friend Steve, he calls me his heterosexual life partner. Like he's like as gay as can be. It's fantastic. He's a wonderful dude. Loves Resident Evil and Tomb Raider. So he came over one day and he had never played PC games with mods. So one of the first things he asks me to do is download mods for Resident Evil 3. What's the first thing he asks for? A nude mod for Carlos and for Jill. So I was like, fine, let's look through them. One of the first ones we find, I shit you not, has Jill Valentine in like completely nude with like triple H size and then a 12-inch,
Right.
I mean,
'cause
wouldn't that be
why not have
tactical?
them
You got
both?
airbags built in.
but like
Now, the Skyrim modding scene is, and I'm actually going to use this to transition into the next topic because I think it's funny that like Bethesda games, their modding community is what helps the game survive. Like people are still playing Skyrim. I'm playing Skyrim with over 1,000 mods. Not a single mod that I have does this stuff, but
well, the reason
you
why
can.
is because they're the only ones that'll fix the game.
Well, yeah, but then also there's like straight up like NSFW full nudity. Like you can basically turn Skyrim into an adults only game is what I'll say. And it's just, I don't understand how you go from fighting dragons to bad dragon. It makes no sense to me.
I'm just saying the best mod ever for Skyrim was turning the dragons
Into Thomas the
the Choo Choo Train.
Yes, that was incredible. And it's in
That's
the
like-
opening scene as well. It's like this massive
Right.
dramatic thing in
Now,
the opening scene.
do you guys know Donkey? Like video game Donkey?
I've heard of him.
Okay, so he has this scene where he was playing modded Skyrim, and he's like, you know what? So is that a crab wearing a top hat and a monocle? Come on, Master Chief, let's get the heck out of here. It's like Master Chief and a crab wearing a top hat and a monocle all on the same screen, and then there's just like a Thomas the Tank Engine flying overhead in the distance. But the reason I'm talking about Skyrim is Bethesda's been working on another game that's coming out this year, and it's Starfield. And I am so unbelievably hyped up for this game because it's going to be answering some questions that everybody has, like what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? Where did
Oh,
we
God.
come from? What is the point of this all? Like those are the questions that they're going to answer in Starfield.
So
And
you seem to remind me of the same crowd that said the same thing about Cyberpunk 2077 and got supremely upset whenever it failed to answer all of those questions.
Well, I didn't know that Cyberpunk was trying to answer those questions, and I personally didn't have any problems with Cyberpunk at launch. I enjoyed the game, but I was also playing on a PC with a 3090. Most people were playing on PS4. So the game should never have come out on last-gen consoles, ever. Should not have
No.
happened. But that's besides the point. My point with Starfield is I very much love sci-fi, and there aren't that many like good modern space games. Everybody's obsessed with like modern combat or like World War II and all that stuff. but there hasn't been like a good sci-fi game. And No Man's Sky was fun, but all you
Star
did was
Citizen.
just like explore. That's all that was in No Man's Sky, really. It's just like flying around, which is really cool. And you can play No Man's Sky in VR as well, which is awesome. But Starfield is like a Bethesda game, which means it's going to have like a good story, and it's going to have like interesting characters and roleplay elements and all this stuff. And I'm just really excited about it because like as much as people clown on Bethesda, Skyrim, Oblivion,
True.
Morrowind, Fallout 3, Fallout New Vegas, Fallout 4. They made one mistake with Fallout 76, and everybody's like, I don't trust Bethesda anymore. I'm just like, okay. But it was one mistake.
But it was that, and then the constant re-release upon re-release upon re-release of Skyrim. It's like, hey, do you want to play more Skyrim? Play it on your Amazon Alexa.
Grand Theft Auto 5 is on the Xbox 360. Grand Theft Auto 5 is on the the PS3. It was on the PS4, PS5.
But look at
Xbox One, Xbox Series X.
Skyrim's still on more platforms.
I mean, yeah, because you can't play GTA. Well, you can play the GTA, the trilogy, the definitive edition. So those 3 games are
Just
playable
5.
on the
We're
PS2.
just talking about 5.
Okay. But no, I'm not talking about 5 anymore. I'm talking about the definitive edition. So you can play Grand Theft Auto San Andreas on the Xbox original, the PlayStation 2, the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox Series S,
but hold on.
the PS5.
The Series and the One is the same platform.
Okay, but like you
I'm
can also
back
play it
at
on
home,
Switch and you can play it on mobile.
fighting.
Like, I want to go home. The parents are fighting. No, but
Mommy
like
and Daddy keep
people are
fighting.
just
I
like, but
don't
Skyrim
this.
came out on everything. I'm like, okay, but what about all these other games that also have been re-released? It's not like Skyrim's the one who gets clowned on, but it's not just Skyrim is my point here. But
I think it's just the amount of times.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the difference between Skyrim is like Skyrim was actually like remade a couple of times as well. There was special edition, but there was like the original version of Skyrim, which came out on the Xbox 360, and then there was Skyrim Special Edition, which was like the next gen update, and then there was
very
Anniversary
special
Edition.
The very
Yeah, but look, I like Bethesda games a lot, and Starfield is going to be a Bethesda game which I like, and a space game which I really like, and I'm just excited about it. And I think people are upset that it got delayed, but I think Bethesda's really trying to not be Bugthesda with the release of this game.
And if we've learned anything from Cyberpunk or Battlefield 5, I'd rather wait for a game than it released early. Yeah.
And like they could release it now. And honestly, if it was EA doing this, they would have released it now. But Microsoft is going all in on Starfield to be their big IP. Starfield, like there have been Xbox Series Xboxes printed with Starfield branding on the back of it.
Wow.
Which means it's not Master Chief anymore. It's Starfield. So they are going all
IP.
in. This is going to be the IP, the thing to play on Xbox. But I have a PC, so I don't really care about playing it on Xbox. But it's going to be the game. And on
the bright side, you do finally have a working Xbox. You found one at the dumpster.
But I mean, that's an Xbox One though. I also have a Series S as well that I got sent to me to.
But you can't put discs in a Series X now, can you, Ryan? Or Series S, not
the
X.
game's going to be on Game Pass, so that's another good thing about Starfield. Like if people are skeptical about it, it's going to be on. What's that?
Yeah,
face?
it's free if you've already got it. So fantastic. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm just really excited about it, and I think the delays are good because like everybody gives crap to Bethesda for having bugs in their games, but like we saw Battlefield 2042, Halo Infinite, No Man's Sky, Cyberpunk 2077, Fallout 76. Fallout 76 is Bethesda, but I think they're really trying to not do that this time, and I think they're trying to make something good and something impressive, and I'm excited about Starfield.
You're making me excited a little bit.
I'm going into sales for this reason. Like I'm good at hyping things up.
The one thing I'm really upset about though is that the sequel to Hellblade won't be coming out for a little while.
Yeah, no, Microsoft is in just a weird spot because all of their games that they say that we're going to come out like in 6 months, all these games are like a year. We're going to have all these games by summer 2023. Forza delayed, Starfield delayed. And there was a couple other ones like where the heck is that Obsidian Entertainment that Avowed game. Where is Avowed? Where is the new
Oh, yeah.
Fable? Like Avowed looked interesting because it's made by the same people who made The Outer Worlds and Fallout New
Oh,
Vegas, but it's their
speaking of-
take on the Skyrim like thing.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that sounds great.
I'm excited, but it's just it disappeared. They announced it in like 2019 and haven't said anything since.
I heard
Yikes.
the what's it called? The Spacer's Choice edition of Outer Worlds did not do so well.
I didn't like Outer Worlds that much, to be honest. It was kind of
That's interesting. I've only ever heard rave reviews about it.
I thought it was like this is the same company that made Oblivion and not Oblivion, New Vegas, and compared to New
Yeah.
Vegas, it's just kind of bland.
Mm.
I don't know. That's my opinion, though.
I mean, I like the
The art style,
the
is
kind
cool.
of what's the representation of capitalism, because like
Yeah,
you owe your life, like you and your kids will inherit your debt, and like it shows. I like it takes the like I'm trying to think of the word, the underlying like message of Fallout. Like it's all like anti-capitalist and like what can happen if like, you know, you go too far down the road, and it takes that and like ramps it up to 50, you know,
yeah. No, but
because
with
it's like you belong to a brand. You don't
Yeah.
belong to like a city or a family or a group of people. You belong to a company and a brand.
reminds me of like Cyberpunk as well had messages like that in its game. Like the mega corporations were basically the ones in charge of everything, and the government really couldn't do much about anything at all.
Yeah. It reminds me of Idiocracy. Have you guys ever seen
yeah.
that movie?
I haven't.
Brondo. It has what plants crave. It has electrolytes.
Because they're watering it with Gatorade.
Yeah,
that's
they're
funny.
watering all of the. Wait, Ryan, you haven't seen that?
No, I haven't heard of it.
So they're having a food shortage because they can't get crops to grow, and they start to realize that, hey, you idiots, it's because you're watering your plants with Gatorade. Because
But it has electrolytes.
it has electrolytes. It has what plants crave, because they allowed a company to buy out the what's it called? The FDA. So Brondo owns the FDA, so they were able to change the guidelines for health. And so they were able to say, well, hey, you should use Brondo because it'll help the plants grow because it has what they crave.
Yeah.
It has electrolytes.
It's like the FDA already does a great job when we look at products in America and products in the UK or whatever, the differences and how much crap we have in ours. And the thing, like as an American citizen, we don't have a choice. We just we have to deal with it. There's no other way to
Right.
like.
It's
This is like,
pretty
oh,
insane.
this chip that exists in the UK that also exists in America has 37 other cancer-causing like carcinogenic preservatives in it, but too bad.
You know, a lot of your drugs, they're not only just banned here, but you can actually get imprisoned for them in Qatar if you took them over. Just if you had them on you at the
Like
airport,
Tylenol?
you can go to
Or
well, maybe, I
Advil?
don't know. I don't know about
No,
those.
she said
specifically,
Qatar. Qatar. Qatar, the city, Qatar.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like she said drugs,
you
like
were-
Tylenol, like
Oh,
Oh yeah. I don't know about
Yeah.
specific ones, but it is over the counter, like normal brands. I think Adderall was one of them. I don't know if that's over the counter,
don't
but
think it is.
Adderall
No, it
was
is
one of
not.
them. No.
it's legal. Adderall is legal speed. It's like methamphetamines. It's like
yeah. For ADHD, usually, right?
yeah.
that's crazy.
I still don't understand how, if you're hyperactive, how giving you speed slows you down.
I thought
Like I don't get
I
how
thought
the brain
ADHD
does
was hyperactive deficit.
ADHD is
that.
interesting
Attention
because
deficit hyperactivity disorder.
it's categorized by just a lack of executive function. So you can't organize things and you can't put things in perspective and you lose sense of time and stuff. So it's
Yeah.
not necessarily that you're always hyperactive. Sometimes it's the opposite of that. And the way that the drug is it binds to certain receptors and stops other things from forming. So it balances it all out basically.
Not
But
like
it,
that.
it is it seems counterproductive.
Yeah, so I used to volunteer at a camp every summer for kids with epilepsy, and along with epilepsy comes like a bunch of other things like ADD and ADHD. And like I would see these kids in the morning when they first woke up, and they were like all over the place. And then we get to the med building, and then they take their medicine, and then they're like completely chilled out. Like they're still full of energy because they're kids, but they're not like hyperactive, crazy.
Yeah.
And it's weird because like there are some people who are just like, should we be just drugging these children? Like I understand
Drug
that
the
like you need
children.
medicine to like, well,
Drug
some of the medicine does good, right?
Drug the children.
Well, some of the medicine does good, right? Like medicine that helps stop seizures, like I'm all for that.
Yeah.
That's good. Like
Well,
it's
just-
crazy. And like some of these people wear this thing, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like you have like a little magnet next to your heart that's like wired up into your brain. And like whenever somebody has a seizure, you can swipe a magnet across that thing and it like sends an electrical signal or something up to the brain and like stops it.
I've never heard of that. That's
Interesting.
fascinating.
Yeah. Now
Oh
I
my
can
God.
I don't remember what it's called. It'll come back to me, and when it does, I'll send you on Discord like a link to what it
Thank
is.
you. I'd love
But
that.
I can't remember what it's called.
There
That's
are some
exciting.
wonderful medicines though, like insulin, and how it costs like $300 a vial here and $20 in every other country.
Yeah.
No, wasn't there some like crash with insulin that happened where like
So-
with Twitter Blue or whatever, somebody said the price insulin's now free, and that company's stocks just tanked, right?
Oh
So,
my god, I
fun
remember
fact,
that.
They actually changed course, and they capped the company itself capped the insulin price at $35 a vial. After that, they realized that everyone's really upset with how much insulin is. So we hear your concerns, so we're gonna cap it. As if they didn't know it was already a problem.
Well, at least they capped it.
Wait, so
Yeah.
insulin's not
Now,
$300?
but,
Like it's 30-ish now?
It's $35 a vial now from Eli Lilly and Co. The one that
So
got hit
basically
with
what
that-
you're saying is that if we're pissed off at a company, we just need to mess with their stocks if they're publicly traded, and then when we get what we want,
Yes, basically.
Yeah.
all right, play the
Like
game.
the whole GameStop scuffle. That was quite fun.
Yeah,
So-
I remember that.
Since this is the Parkour podcast, speaking of GameStop kerfuffles,
I'm so excited to hear your link.
Resident Evil 4's Collector's Edition. People bought the shit out of it.
Oh.
They sold out in a day. All
Isn't
of
that
the
what's behind
Collector's
you?
Edition. It was a GameStop. No, that's 3.
Okay.
4's, it lasted a day. Couple days ago, they started calling customers who pre-ordered it, canceled everyone's across the board.
No.
Everyone's. Entire stores quit over it. Because
Wow.
the stores were the ones that had to call customers and get chewed out because corporate decided to there's no official like, hey, we oversold the game, so we have to cancel X amount of them. No, they canceled. From all the reports that people are finding, they've canceled the majority of them.
That makes sense.
So online orders, at first they were prioritizing online orders. So anybody who bought it in store was SOL.
Mm.
But then they started canceling online orders. And yeah, people
I'm
aren't
surprised
that happy
GameStop
about
doesn't
that.
just go full online shipping, because like I went to a GameStop recently that's in my town, and there was like one person working there, and it was a lady who was like helping the one other customer that was also in the store. Like I remember when GameStops would have like 5 staff members, and like there was multiple cash registers open, and now it's just like one person and the store is mainly empty. There's maybe one person other than you in the store. That's it.
So I can tell you why they don't.
Hmm.
So I was there right as they were beginning to make the transition. So you've heard of this wonderful thing called Amazon drop shipping?
Yeah.
Same shit. Every single one of these stores are hubs. If you have, let's say somebody orders No Man's Sky, and the closest store has it, they're going to ship it from that store. They are now a warehouse.
Mm.
Somebody orders this collectible, a store, not the closest store to the person, but a store like a state over has that collectible. and it's closer than the warehouse, that store ships it. The warehouse will ship them another one later if they feel like it.
I thought drop shipping is where you bought products super cheap from China, had them shipped to the US, and then sold them at a higher like price on Amazon.
No,
because
that's
I've
just
actually
business.
looked into doing that.
No, that's just business.
Well, it sounds bad that I've looked into doing that, but like that's how the majority of products on Amazon are drop shipped, like a good like 50+%. Like if you see, like I recently bought these things. I've started making like chicken sandwiches, and I like to put like a runny egg on the chicken sandwich just because it's good. And so I bought these things that they're like circles. You put them in the pan, and then you can like have your egg cook in a perfect circle.
Yeah.
So like it fits perfectly on the chicken patty every single time. And I bought those on Amazon, and then I just looked them up on AliExpress or like looked them up on CJ Dropshipping, and they're like,
okay, so
half
you
the
were
price.
right. I am wrong.
yeah,
The actual definition of drop shipping is the movement of goods from the manufacturer directly to the retailer without going through the usual distribution channels.
yeah,
So without a middleman.
yeah. So like without selling your item through Walmart, you literally just you buy it from this company for like a couple cents in China, and then you sell it for $10 in the US.
Yeah. So what the stores are doing is essentially they're acting as hubs for the warehouse network. And they're expected to keep track of inventory. They're expected to market and upsell every purchase they have to do the pro membership, the warranties and everything like that, and take care of every customer, answer questions, ship out orders like they're a warehouse employee. And it's generally 1 to 2 people a day that are working in that store.
Yeah, like when I went to GameStop, I went to buy a, funny enough, Xbox controller. Back to this conversation, right? And they're just like, do you want to become a rewards member? Are you a rewards member? Or do you want this? Do you want that? Like, I just want to buy the thing and leave. Like, please shut up. I don't care about your rewards program for your slowly bleeding company. I don't want this stuff. But it's just so crazy to think about the whole drop shipping thing, though, because like I'm sure you guys have seen on TikTok, like while scrolling through, like this product changed my life. Most people who talk about those things are drop shippers, and they're trying to make their item that they're trying to drop ship go viral. Because if you have one thing go viral, that thing could make you $100,000 to $200,000 to $300,000 a month on like sales on Amazon if you make it go viral on TikTok. So there's a lot of companies, or not companies, but people who just like drop ship like 5 things, and they just flood their TikTok account with just posts about those 5 things, and then people go and buy them if it has 1 million views and a couple likes, and maybe they tell their friends to like comment like, hey, this is so awesome, and they just like influence people, right? Influencers, they influence people to go buy the thing. And so whenever you see a product being advertised on TikTok that's like not from an actual like brand, but it's like a creator saying like, oh, I found this thing on Amazon that like helps me crack my back or whatever, like that was probably drop shipped, and they're probably trying to make a quick profit. Yeah. Because I have friends who've been looking into doing this, and there's a lot of people who do it, and a lot of people have one product that like goes gold, and they make a lot of money.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. All you have to do is like set up a Shopify, link it with CJ Dropshipping, and then link that with like create an Amazon sellers account. It costs money because like you have to buy a website domain and all this stuff, but it is something you could do. But it's also not easy because you are the company. So whenever an order goes through, you have to like stay on top of whether or not it gets refunded. Now the thing is, it skips you when the order is processed and goes, well, no, it goes to you. And then you like send a spreadsheet with orders, details, and information to the company that you're using to like ship the product in China. And then they ship the product from China to the US. So you don't have to own a warehouse, right? Because that's why it's drop shipping, right? So you don't have to own a warehouse with all these products in stock. You send all the buyer's information to the company, and the company sends it to them. But if it's returned to you, which is a little weird.
Interesting.
So like if the product fails, you're just going to have 3,000 boxes of like smart spoons, I guess, just like in your living room.
That sounds like a product you would have, actually.
Smart spoons? Like as you dip it in the bowl of soup, it tells you the exact temperature so you don't burn your mouth or whatever.
Pretty much.
Or it just judges you Are you sure
I mean-
about that extra?
Are you sure
portion?
about that extra?
Well,
Yeah.
there are smart
Why did you
smart
go
thermoses.
and get more? You were
Yeah.
you were doing so well. You were losing so much weight. Like
Honestly.
it just.
Oh my
insults
god,
you
this
the
gives
whole
me an
time.
idea. A spoon that insults you while you eat. People would buy
Yeah.
that.
People would.
All right,
It's true.
quick, let's patent this real quick, guys. No, but there are like smart thermoses that tell you the temperature. Like if you have soup in it, and that's going to be your lunch at work, like it tells you the temperature of the soup, so you know if it's going to be hot or not before you actually open it up and eat it. So that's
Actually,
kind of cool.
Gatorade.
There is like a quick way of doing that though. You just open it
Yeah.
and then you know.
Okay.
Hack.
Yeah.
Gatorade actually just released a $60 water bottle that talks to your phone and it measures how much water comes out of the nozzle. And it'll update your phone. It's like, hey, you haven't drank water for this amount of time. You should probably drink X amount of water.
See,
That's
that's cool. But what if
clever.
you fill it up with alcohol instead of water? Like you haven't had a drink in 5 minutes. Cheers, buddy.
You know, you could say that about a lot of things, to be fair. What if you filled it with alcohol? They just assume that you won't.
Yeah, what if you just ate your smart soup instead of with the spoon? It's not a soup; it's an alcohol. It's just like
Yeah.
a bowl of alcohol.
It's like,
And then
how
you have
dare
the
you go
spoon
back to that
yelling.
extra portion? Yeah, you eat that up.
And it's just
No,
like a
you
bowl of
didn't eat that.
vodka.
It's just a bowl of vodka.
Oh man,
Oh god, this has been an interesting fucking podcast. But, so we are now at an hour and 20 minutes.
Oh,
So
yeah, we
let's
are.
go
Wow.
ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys for listening to the Hardcore Parkour Drop Shipping
joystick
Alcoholics
jockeys,
Anonymous.
joystick junkies.
Joystick Jockeys joins Joystick Junkies podcast here. But as always, I am Caleb Boudreau, the editor-in-chief of An Extraordinary Life.online, and we have Ryan
Hi, I'm Ryan, a release radar on YouTube.
and Perry,
I'm Perry, or Pericarl, a Twitch streamer.
and we are out. Everyone have a good day.
I still can't believe I found an Xbox in the trash though. Like it's still processing in my mind. And it, like I
Man.
wasn't sure it was gonna work, and I opened it up, and it was disgusting. Like I sent a picture to our group chat, right, Caleb?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
and like it was like there was dust covering every single like vent port, and so I used.